This talk was based on a journal article entitled Engaging Diverse Generations in the 21st Century Workplace, written by Dr. Demetrice Williams, Ph.D., Dr. Kimberly Falk, Ph.D., Barbara Heidelberg Johnson, doctoral student, and Haysetta D. Schuler, doctoral student at the University of Phoenix.
Hi, and welcome to the SciTech Central Conferences on Management Sciences. I am Dr. Demetrice Williams from the University of Phoenix, Phoenix, Arizona, USA. Today, we will discuss engaging diverse generations in the 21st century workplace.
No one doubts the fact that the most beneficial attribute of any organization is human capital. According to Barron, Kloss, and Drucker, a primary goal of management is to provide an organizational culture where employees of all generations collaborate in a manner that lessens the effects of disengagement and maximizes the use of talents and strengths. For the purpose of this review, a cohort is characterized as a collection of people that often share similarities based on shared experiences about values, attitudes, and work-related issues. According to Nada, characteristics of the cohorts in today's workforce have a significant consequence of conflicts on organizational performance. Understanding generational characteristics can be helpful in governing workplace diversity because it allows individuals to understand assumptions of the expected treatment of all persons involved. This review seeks to present the most relevant workplace characteristics of all three generations to highlight the preferences of the diverse workplace populations.
At present, organizational leaders are facing the dilemma of maintaining a productive workforce comprised of generational differences that hinder social cohesion and productivity in the workplace. Most of the conflict centers around a difference in work expectations. This review will discuss characteristics, employment patterns, and provide a brief background into the past and present events that impact various behaviors of baby boomers, Generation X, and millennials, and pertain to engagement in the workplace. Specific characteristics differentiate the behaviors of each generation. Understanding these aspects are pertinent to effective business practices in the engaging of diverse generations in the workplace. Although this may be true, not all individuals will share every characteristic of their age group. However, understanding these individualities may make it easier for business leaders to recognize them and know how they manifest themselves in the employee and organization. Researchers define employee engagement differently. Grumana and Sachs viewed employee engagement as a dynamic experience of involvement and independent and gratifying activities that result in enhancing an employee's sense of career efficacy. As a concept, Mary defined engagement as employees who invest positive emotional and mental efforts to ensure the successful outcomes into their organization. According to Swalnatha and Prasanna, employee engagement represents employees who relate to their employers because they are passionate about their work. Why does a company want you to be engaged? Well, engaged employees are emotionally committed to their company goals, so they are willing to go the extra mile. It turns out that this extra effort, discretionary effort, has a huge impact on many areas of business. For example, engaged salespeople give extra effort, so they sell more. Engaged customer service representatives give extra effort, so they provide better service. Factory workers, software programmers, and all those people who build things give extra effort, so they have a higher level of productivity. Quality control inspectors give extra effort, so products have fewer defects and better quality. Now, this isn't a theory. Time and again, researchers have shown a strong correlation between engagement and performance results.
Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, in the year 2000, the Campbell's Soup Company was in big trouble. The company that began in 1869 and sold soup in 120 countries hit a wall. Sales weren't just slowing, they were declining. Campbell lost 54% of their market value in just 1 year. Campbell's executives were told that their employee engagement levels were the worst ever seen among the Fortune 500. So the board of directors hired a new CEO, the mild-mannered Douglas Conant, to turn things around. What do most CEOs do in dire situations? They might sell off divisions, buy smaller competitors, move into new markets, or maybe even hire investment bankers to evaluate strategic options. But that wasn't Doug Conant's style. A Forbes magazine article quoted him saying, "To win in the marketplace, you must first win in the workplace." I'm obsessed with keeping employee engagement front and center. So quarter after quarter, year after year, Conant made sure that employee engagement was one of the top initiatives for Campbell Soup Company. By 2009, the ratio of engaged employees to disengaged employees reached an astounding 23-1. More importantly, in the decade that saw the S&P 500 stocks lose 10% of their value, Campbell stock actually increased by 30%. So now you can see that employee engagement is the secret ingredient that leads to better business results, including a higher stock price for publicly traded companies.
What makes you feel engaged? Kevin Cruz asks a very important question. How do we get people to feel the feeling of engagement? Depending on the individual or situation, there may be many drivers of engagement such as communication, growth and development, recognition and appreciation, or trust and confidence. Research studies show that engagement is driven primarily by your relationship with your manager. This is important because great managers, through their actions and words, have the ability to magnify the positives and minimize the negatives. There's a handy phrase and acronym to remember the 4 key drivers of engagement. Communicate great. Great leaders communicate growth, recognition, and trust. A key point. Engagement can result only from a partnership between you and your manager.
Here's something to ask yourself. Do you want better health? Become fully engaged at work. Do you want a better marriage? Become fully engaged at work. Do you want to be happy in life? Become fully engaged at work. Now let's take a test to see what your engagement style is. Write the number that most closely matches your level of agreement. Communication. Meeting with my manager one-on-one, at least weekly, is important to me. Meeting with fellow teammates, at least weekly, is important to me. I like to read company-wide communications, like the annual report or company newsletters. I like asking questions of my CEO or president during town hall meetings. Growth. Career advancement is important to me. I like to learn new things and to be challenged at work. I would like to have a mentor to help guide my career. Knowing the next steps in my career path is important to me. Recognition. I feel good when my manager says thank you. I feel good when a fellow team member says thank you. I feel good when one of my ideas is implemented at work. I feel good when someone at work asks my opinion. Trust. Knowing my company's goals is important to me. I feel good knowing how my work contributes to my company's goals. It's important to have a manager who cares about me. It's important that our senior leadership does what it says it will do. Now let's calculate your engagement style. Add up your scores for each category. Interpreting your scores. Which engagement driver received your highest score? This is the first area for you and your manager to focus in your career. This driver is your primary key for unlocking feelings of engagement at work. Do you have a tie, or are several scores close? If this is the case for you, consider it a good thing. It means that there is more than one way to trigger your feelings of engagement. Are all your scores 12 or below? You are basically indicating that communication, growth, recognition, and trust aren't important to you. If all drivers have a score of 12 or less, it means you answered every single question as a neutral or with a level of disagreement. Because companies. The annals of history are replete with now defunct great companies headed by brilliant leaders who simply stopped innovating, in other words, companies with a because culture. Why did Digital Equipment Corporation founder and CEO Ken Olsen continue to produce mini-computers while competing startups built personal computers? Because. Why did the New York Times and the Boston Globe miss the boat on launching online job ads, giving Jeff Taylor space to launch Monster.com? Because. Why didn't Blockbuster deliver movies or offer streaming video, leaving that niche open for Netflix? Because. Why didn't Polaroid see the emergence of digital photography? Because. Actually, folklore has it that Polaroid invented an early digital camera but was afraid to invest in a product that could cannibalize its film-based business. These are all examples of companies that failed to engage their employees to challenge the status quo. Innovation requires investing today's cash to discover tomorrow's new service or product offerings, technologies, or approaches. If you don't innovate, you'll end up with an old model that can't compete. Why do so many companies settle into a because culture? To understand this, you need to recognize the business pressures to conform, exacerbated by the natural bureaucracies that develop over time as companies grow. Add to the fact that people become less creative as they grow older.
Hello everyone, it's Jacobin Barrier. I'm with Dr. Williams today, and we're going to be discussing different generations in the workplace. First, let's start off with the baby boomers. People in America are advancing in years, thus the workforce is growing older. Currently, more than 70 million people in the United States make up the baby boomers generation. Baby boomers are individuals born during prosperous times, 1946 to 1964. According to Carter and Kelly, baby boomers will be 55 or older by 2017 and play an integral role in today's workforce. Since their working years, baby boomers changed many aspects regarding work and life. For example, as the healthiest generation in history, baby boomers have life expectancies into their late 80s. They represent the fastest growing workforce. Because of their high level of energy and good health, baby boomers do not look like the traditional grandparents of the silent generation, 1925 to 1945. Also, Friedman and Williamson noted that they have a desire to engage in work, family, and community in profound ways, but with flexibility. Baby boomers do not have a real money savings reputation. According to Takino, approximately 75% of baby boomers failed to save enough money to retire by age 65 and to sustain comfortable lives. Consequently, more baby boomers intend to keep on working past the age of 65. Another reason baby boomers will keep on working until age 65 is that they represent the largest cohort of retirees, which can result in the United States experiencing labor shortages and welfare funding challenges. Jackson noted the labor shortages challenges will improve because the United States government increased the mandatory retirement age from 62 to 65, and employers had to implement employee security measures for baby boomers. Although more baby boomers are preparing to retire at a later age, they maintain a desire to make good use of the skills and experience they have learned throughout their professions. Employers confronting succession problems may find it beneficial to glean from baby boomers' specialized abilities, along with their wealth of experience. Researchers described the type of work baby boomers desire to engage and their employment selection patterns. According to Ma, in the United States, white-collar baby boomers are specialists, whereas Japanese cohorts are generalist. Ma mentioned that employers are more likely to hire specialists than generalists. The determining factors for employment patterns of baby boomers include the type of profession, pension, wages, health, and family. Decisions about working hours, according to labor economics, implies that reservation and market wages influence employees' choice of employment. When the market wage is higher than the reservation rate, the employee will select work. Working hours will decrease among baby boomers who are preparing to retire and consider leisure time more valuable. Because a difference exists between market and reservation wage rates, baby boomers' employees will also have different patterns of employment selection. Likewise, Marchiori noted their preferences for leisure will also vary, even if they are in the same market wage rate. For this reason, they may choose contrasting patterns of employment. Based on the distinct job selection models, Marchiori and Dixon declared that employers have to discover unique strategies to engage and retain skilled and experienced baby boomers.
Hi Jochebed. Since I'm a baby boomer, let me tell them ways to engage my generation. First, foster a non-authoritarian work environment. We don't like being told what to do. At this stage of our careers, boomers are set in their ways, and a democratic leadership style goes a long way toward engaging boomers. Another good idea is to tap into our experience. Asking the right questions will engage boomers, and it also shows respect. That's right, put some respect on my name. Haha, just kidding. But you can offer fresh assignments and other development opportunities. Shifting assignments can boost innovation because it invites new and different perspectives. Be aware of the challenges that boomers face. Managers that are empathetic about all the things boomers must juggle in their complex lives will be rewarded over time with above and beyond effort. I guarantee you. Foster collaboration. We tend to be highly engaged by working in partnership or as part of a team. Encourage expression. Baby boomers enjoy opportunities for expression. And don't forget to participate in CSR, corporate social responsibility, activities. Thanks. Boomers are ambitious, always have been, always will be. That said, an emerging trend is boomers' increasing interest in corporate social responsibility, CSR. Having successfully climbed the corporate ladder and accumulated the things their parents couldn't afford, baby boomers seem to have experienced resurgence of concern about social and environmental issues. This reawakening is due part to the importance of CSR among millennial workers. Indeed, working alongside this younger generation seems to have inspired boomers to levels of activism they may associate with their youth. Smart organizations include CSR activities as a hiring hook to lure baby boomers. Many older workers who view themselves as being on the back nine of their careers are more inclined than ever to bypass the big paycheck to take on a job with a more altruistic theme. Other recruitment hooks for this generation include job variety, travel, opportunities to learn new skills, and opportunities to teach and mentor younger workers. A benefit to mentoring. The mediocre teacher tells. The good teacher explains. The superior teacher demonstrates. The great teacher inspires. William Arthur Ward.
Hi, Jochebed again. Next up, we're going to discuss Generation X, or the Gen Xers. During the late 1980s, 17.9% of the American workforce was born during the time of Generation X, Gen Xers, although Copeland later introduced the label in a 1991 novel. Since its debut, television and film have used the name to describe the post-baby boomer era. Berkup affirmed that Gen Xers were born in a time of frequent change, unlike their parents. This cohort is the first generation to think globally, under the influence of several worldwide events, such as the Vietnam War, Gulf War, Watergate scandal, and the first HIV/AIDS cases. The military movements of World War II and other activities may have helped the Gen Xers learn to be more loyal. Furthermore, such events may have caused Gen Xers to redefine loyalty, as noted by Bottrell and Whitted-Berman, with the belief that instead of being loyal to the organization, Gen Xers should commit to the team, the boss, and the job. Unlike the baby boomer cohort, in an occupational setting, Gen Xers are characterized as a group of individuals who are naive, arrogant, unfocused, self-centered, and less loyal despite a need to receive rewards. Consequently, the lack of loyalty is because Gen Xers watched their parents work for leaders of businesses who laid off half their employees every 5 years. Even so, managers need to create opportunities in which Gen Xers can achieve success and growth, as well as visibility and an organizational culture that exudes fun. Gen Xers value interacting with others because communication encourages participation in meaningful exchanges of ideas. Jerkowitz further noted that Gen X employees believe managers trust them more when they have control of their job. Surprisingly, the concept of freedom and independence at the work was first introduced by Generation X. As a result, Gen Xers have found a better balance between work and personal life that does not exhibit the same amount of loyalty demonstrated by prior generations. According to Jerkowitz and Coolidge, Gen Xers do not enter the workforce with ideas of retirement, pensions, or careers.
Hi, is there anyone out there that can back Jochebed up on this? How about an actual Gen Xer?
Hi Jochebed. I've got this. I'm proud to be a Gen Xer, but we're often misunderstood. Let's discuss ways to engage Generation X. 1. Don't pile on heavy workloads. If we sense that independence and free agency are not being honored, we'll likely become cynical about our jobs. 2. Avoid meetings. I'm proud to say that Generation X was the first generation to grow up with technology, therefore, we prefer communicating via email. 3. Flexibility is key. We usually make up for the time they've taken to attend a child's play or soccer game by working nights or weekends. 4. Offer training and development opportunities. Right now, members of this generation are quite career-oriented. We see ourselves as next in line to take the reins. To keep us engaged, you need to make us feel that we're continuously learning and growing. Thanks.
Hi, I'm back again, and this time we will be discussing millennials. 78% of organizational leaders recognize that employee engagement demands a sense of immediacy among the millennials generation. Empirical evidence suggests that the millennial generation is flooding the workforce, and by 2025, nearly 75% of the workforce in America will be dominated by this group. The millennials comprise the largest work group. According to Lavoie, the millennials seek organizations where human capital is an asset to the business, rather than focusing on a high profit margin. Finally, increasing employee engagement with the millennials hinges upon factors other than work-life balance or salary. Millennials are ethnically diverse, globally adaptive, open-minded to different situations, and multitasking. However, the lack of loyalty makes a millennial employee prone to take risks and job hop frequently. According to Twenge and Campbell, increased locus of control, self-confidence, and self-centeredness are features that characterize millennials, as well as technical, adaptable, and learner-centered. An annual millennial survey conducted by Deloitte, Touche, and Tomatsu revealed that millennial employees are planning massive exoduses of job hopping from one organization to another. The average tenure on a job ranges between 3 to 5 years. However, the arduous task of employee retention is faced by business leaders that employ many people from this generation, as demonstrated in the United States. Houle and Bonema assert that there is a gap between reality and satisfactory engagement levels. Research shows nearly 71% of organizations assess employee engagement within the individual performance appraisals, and 35% achieved success. According to Gilbert, organizations will need to adjust or re-engineer the engagement models to motivate, engage, and retain a viable workforce made up by millennials. Presumably, the millennials are causing managers to reconsider how to accomplish work. Sachs and Grumman also state that nearly 70% of millennials in the workforce attest that their highest priorities are giving back to the community and being civically engaged. According to Houle and Bonema, empirical data indicates that work engagement is a predictor of organizational outcomes and the level of success that an organization encounters. Consequently, an engaged workforce may influence an organization's competitive edge. Millennial employees appreciate real-time feedback, such as acknowledgement for satisfactorily completing a task and receiving checklists that show a record of their accomplishments.
Hi, Jochebed. Wait, is this a TikTok video? Just kidding. Let's discuss ways to engage millennials. 1. Harness technology for communication. Although Gen Xers are technology savvy, millennials are technology dependent. 2. Allow for mobility and flexibility. We are attracted to new technologies, especially those that grant us increased mobility. 3. Allow for job rotation. For my generation, job rotation is a must. 4. Give frequent feedback. Boomers may have gone years between performance appraisals, but recognition, praise, and constructive feedback are not only welcomed by our group but a means to motivate us. 5. Don't restrict internet or social media use. Many organizations view internet and social media use as a waste of time, but if you restrict our use, employees will simply obtain access via their own devices during work hours. Trust in us to do the right thing, and more often than not, we will. 6. Invite millennials to serve on social committees. We are a social and networked generation, accustomed to connecting with a wide universe. We're a ready and able committee waiting to be asked to help socialize your business. Thanks.
Let's take a 5-minute break. have your attention, please? If everybody's back from break, let's dispel 5 myths about employee engagement. The Greeks and Romans aren't the only ones with myths. You'll find plenty in the work world too. For example, here are some myths about employee engagement. 1. Employee engagement is HR's role. Most leaders, including many CEOs and CFOs, are highly analytical. They're more comfortable with hard data than soft initiatives like employee engagement. That's why many of them delegate employee engagement to HR. The problem is, when they do, the result is merely an engagement program, not the cultural transformation that is needed to engage employees. Remember, delegating employee engagement to HR will send a huge message to employees, namely, that employee engagement just isn't that important. 2. Employee engagement requires a large budget. Although you can certainly spend all kinds of dough on engagement programs, you don't have to. In fact, some of the best engagement tools are free. Take recognition and respect, which are a huge part of engagement. Simply calling out employees for their accomplishments won't cost you a dime. Transparent communication, another key engagement driver, is also gratis. 3. Employee engagement isn't something to be focused on now. When an organization faces economic difficulties, some managers inevitably subscribe to the notion that people are fortunate just to have jobs and dismiss any talk about the importance of engagement. But in times like these, it becomes even more urgent to increase employee engagement, before workers' frustration with their disengaged colleagues takes a further toll on the workplace. 4. Employee engagement is warm and fuzzy, and there aren't statistics to back it up. Wrong. There are plenty of statistics to support the idea that the more engaged your workforce is, the better it is for your organization. 5. Employee engagement is a trend. Right. Kind of like the internet. The truth is, if you run an online search for employee engagement, you'll land over 37 million hits. Does that sound trendy to you? Look at it this way, leadership never went out of favor, quality seems to have survived, and strategy has stood the test of time. Similarly, employee engagement isn't going away anytime soon.
Let's summarize. Diverse cultures and generations comprise today's current organizational workforce. Much of the differences among workers is due to the shifting values as people age. With a belief in strong loyalty in organizational structure, baby boomers continue to thrive in the workplace despite their prolonged tenure due to social-economical processes. On the other hand, Gen Xers demonstrate an uncertain loyalty that often overshadows the strengths and independence of this generation. And lastly, millennials fulfill their role as the relaxed innovators of our time by effecting change. As a result, varied groups of individuals through diversity can drive organizations into additional breadths of success. Consequently, efficient services and productivity can be undermined if communication and working relationships are not understood. Therefore, business leaders must provide ongoing training and educational opportunities that will keep employees engaged in the success of their company. This review indicates that if the frontrunners of business want to remain competitive, they must have a staff with the ability to recognize and manage differences that embrace the beliefs and behaviors of each generation. Now, future research may seek practices for creating modern processes that encourage creativity and flexibility among workers. I'd like to thank the SciTech Central Conferences on Management Sciences for this opportunity. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Goodbye.